If you're a marketer but you're not yet using AI, you are seriously missing out. You could become a 10x marketer by using artificial intelligence. It will make you more efficient, it will make you more productive, and you can genuinely output 10 times more what you could before you were using AI. For those of you who don't know me and what I'm actually talking about, my name is Ali. I run two different agencies. One is a performance creative agency called AdCrate, and another, which is a consulting agency for AI called Human Squared. So I have a rough idea of what I'm talking about when it comes to this topic. And what I want to do today is show how marketers, freelancers, consultants can use AI and get a foundational understanding of what all of this stuff means. Before I actually go into that, there was a study that I was reading into from one of the big consulting firms, and it was saying AI won't take your job, but a marketer using AI better than you might. And the whole philosophy behind this is there are people out there who are already leveraging AI and they are becoming 10x marketers. So even if the artificial intelligence isn't going to replace you, another person who is leveraging all of these tools absolutely will. When it comes to the future, the productivity potential is 4.4 trillion US dollars in global economic value in terms of what the output from AI can be and what that is worth in terms of employment. Right now, only 1% of companies are AI mature, and a lot of them are saying they want to adopt AI. So you are at the forefront if you're already thinking about these things. And finally, 92% of these larger companies are planning investment when it comes to AI spend, whether that's consultants, agents, tools. Majority of them know what its economic benefit can be. So if you're not already thinking about this, the future belongs to people who think about AI, who are using it as systems and building this stuff up. Okay. Here is the old way versus the new way of marketing. Back in the day, we're talking manual marketing. This is the world that I also came from. It's time-intensive ideation. You want to think of new ideas. You want to think of your new projects. Everything needs to be done from scratch, whether you're using templates or you're doing things as a brainstorm with yourself on a whiteboard or with your team. It was manual content creation. You had to, even when it comes to a storyboard, hire an agency. When it comes to coming up with ideas for social, again, hire an agency or do it yourself. And it was extremely painstaking and time consuming. Basic data analysis. You would need to either be an Excel whiz or you would need to speak to a reporting team. You don't need to do that anymore. And finally, execution bottlenecks. If you don't have any expertise, you are relying on third-party stakeholders, which means you are basically waiting around. But here's what it looks like with AI enhanced systems. The first one is rapid idea generation. Within minutes, you can feed information to an AI model and tell it, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. Here is the help that I need. And it can help output so many different ideas, whether it's a content calendar, it's a marketing campaign, whether you're looking at a marketing strategy. AI can help you build all of these up. Assisted content creation. You can actually get AI to not only come up with the campaign ideas, but create mock-ups, create final ads for you as well. This is something we're actively doing within our agency. Deep data insights. You can feed tons of data to AI and just get it to give you an analysis. What does this actually mean? Recently, I fed through a 50-page report and basically said, hey, give me the summary on this. And that's how I am leveraging AI on a day-to-day basis. And finally, automated executions. This is beyond just AI. This is AI agents, which I'm going to go into a little bit later on within this deck. Okay, so there's two core things you need to know as a marketer, and that is the difference between AI and AI agents. What is AI or AI tool? An AI LLM, a large language model. Number one, these are static responders awaiting for commands. Majority of large language models like OpenAI, ChatGPT, you feed information to them, you give them an input. So for example, I'm running a social media campaign, help me make a content calendar. Here's everything you need to know. Then it will give you an output. It's focused on a single task. So every single time you want it to do something, you need to ask it first. And then finally, it's reactive. It's not proactive, although they are getting to that point as well. But in a simplistic way, they are very much waiting for you to give them a command. Think of it as a glorified intern who's just sitting there next to you and is just waiting for the next action that you give them. Meanwhile, AI agents are an autonomous system that take initiative. What that means is they can be running 24/7. And think of an AI agent as an AI tool, but a mixture of them. So you can have 10, 50, 100 different actions happening within one agent. It's kind of housing an AI tool and it can have multiple steps to it. So where in one model, you would just say, hey, I want you to execute one thing. With an AI agent, on the other hand, you can execute 50 different things. Okay, so it's multi-step. And finally, they're proactive problem solvers. A lot of them now are starting to become autonomous in the sense that they can go and think for themselves. So you don't need to spell everything out to them. You can say, hey, develop me an SEO strategy for X website. And they will go, great, you want SEO? Here are the 10 different things I need to think about. I'm going to do all of these step by step. So you don't even need to break it down for them. Beyond that, you can use AI as your assistant. It's not a replacement. Many people have this association that AI is going to replace us. No. Well, to a certain degree. But you can also leverage AI to just become better at what you do. So for example, these are some of the most popular AI tools out there right now. First one is ChatGPT. I personally use it for content creation, making ideas, and using it as a research assistant. Then you have Claude. Claude is very good at copywriting. So when it comes to actually making scripts, they sound really human. So that's how you can leverage and use Claude as well. So long form content, SEO, blog posts, etc. And then you've got Gemini, which is Google's version. Google's version is really good when it comes to feeding it data and giving it the source. So you can give it PDFs, you can give it YouTube videos, you can, academic papers, and say, hey, only based on this content, give me outputs, give me the reports, and help me understand this. Some people like to use all, some people like to use one. To be honest, there's no right way or wrong way. It just depends on personal preferences. I tend to use all of these, but for different use cases, which I will cover in another later episode. Okay, now beyond those AI tools and large language models, you've then got no code and tools that you can use to essentially build AI agents. The first one is a platform called N8N. N8N is a powerful tool. It helps you make custom automations. So you can build all these different workflows. It's great when you want lots of flexibility and control. It can be very complex in how you set up these workflows. You can have 100 different steps in them. You can also connect it to many different apps, whether it's a CRM application, it's an SEO tool, it's your social media scheduling tool. But the only thing is it does have a learning curve. So it looks intimidating because it looks like it's made for professional developers. I come from a background with no technical expertise in development. I do now understand it, but there is this initial learning curve that you have to go through with N8N. The next one is Zapier. It is super easy for beginners because everything is just broken down. It's super visual. It works with all the same apps that N8N does as well, give or take a few, but it's really simple to use. So the learning curve is much lower, and you can even prompt it to say like, hey, I want my Google Sheets to talk to my CRM tool. And it'll say like, hey, here's some workflows that you could use. So it's really intuitive, really easy. And then you've got Gumloop, which is kind of similar to N8N, but it just has a much friendly user interface. And again, it's to build these AI agents, but it's just more simplistic. Now, again, we'll go into another session where we break down all of these different tools and showcase why you should use one over the other. But as an overview, there are many different tools available out there for you to learn. Some have a very easy learning curve and others can be super complex. Okay. What does this actually mean in marketing in terms of, hey, I understand AI, I get these workflows, but what can I actually do? So here's an example, a content creation pipeline. So you could get an AI agent to, first of all, draft you concepts. So for a YouTube video, for this video as an example, I can get it to make me a script. The script is then automatically fed to ChatGPT. ChatGPT refines it, reviews the work for me, and then it pushes it out to another agent who will then publish it for me across my Instagram, my Twitter, my LinkedIn, and repurpose it in different ways. So it's not just a copy and paste job. Another workflow can be an audience insight system where it collects data. Maybe you have 2,000 email response from your CRM and you are asking it to, hey, can you analyze the sentiment within these messages and build me an actionable report? So it's multiple steps. Number one, it's actually going to retrieve all of those comments. Number two, it's going to run it through Gemini or through another AI tool and give you a sentiment analysis to say, hey, here's what people are saying about your product. And then from there, it can turn it into a visual, actionable report, which you can then use and share with your internal stakeholders or as a business, as a founder, help you make decisions on how you should iterate on your product. That would take a data collection reporting team a week to build. With AI, you could do that within 20 to 30 minutes. It's genuinely incredible. A customer response network. So as you have customers responding to any of your marketing questions or they are asking about product inquiries, AI can get the inbound emails, categorize them based on how important they are, and draft replies for you. Then a person just needs to come in, review them, and all of a sudden, your service team, who was outputting whatever number, you've basically doubled or tripled their value in terms of how much they can output. So there's a tangible business benefit to how you can use these workflows. And these are 3 very simple examples. You can get AI to build hundreds of thousands of different versions and tools and iterate on them as well, which we'll be sharing more of in other sessions. Okay, moving on from there. What does this actually mean? Like, if you're an everyday marketer or you just work in a corporate job, you're like, hey, I don't get all of this. What are you supposed to do? The number one thing is you need to understand that the world is changing. When it comes to this specific industry, it is constantly evolving. It is a threat. You do need to understand that. You need to acknowledge that. And you need to say, hey, how can I leverage this by myself and help me become a 10x marketer? So here's a few things that you should be thinking about. On a base level, you should learn prompting. How do you speak to AI? The same way you use Google and you say, hey, how do I find the best results? You can actually go into advanced search. Same way for prompting. You need to understand how these models work so that you know what you need to ask them and how you need to instruct them. 2 people can ask for the same thing in very different ways and get very different results from the same AI. So you want to understand how these models actually work. The second layer is workflows, understanding how you can connect different processes to create a system. Okay, so for the workflow, you want to connect all these different dots together and it will help you get a defined output. Finally, is how do you build a system that runs independently? Essentially, you're making a glorified employee, right? You're making a team member. And how can they just run automatically behind the scenes so that you can go and do the job that you need to do, but someone else is already handling 50% of the role. And that is where the real value is. So the future belongs to marketers who design systems, not just use tools and don't just know design. At least that's what I think. Here's what most people get wrong. Number 1, the space moves every hour. There's a new tool, there's a shiny new object. There's a threat that this new industry is going to be completely redeveloped because of artificial intelligence. And usually it's a hype bubble, then it dies down, and then people realize actually it's not that bad. So people chase new AI apps and they keep jumping from one to the other without mastering one. So that's a huge downside. Number 2, they are doing one-off prompting. So they are just going in and asking AI in the most simplistic of ways, hey, can you build me a plan for X? And then they get the result and they go, this was crap. I'm not using this. I've spoken to countless friends who run agencies and they're like, yeah, I don't use ChatGPT. It's rubbish. And you go, why? And when you get down to it, you understand they're not using it the way that they're supposed to. You're meant to give it feedback. You're meant to share examples with it. Treat it like an intern who needs to learn. And you constantly give it this refined output and you go, great, there's a feedback loop. This is good. Here's how you improve it. This is good. This is bad. And you give it those examples. You work with it and it will over time start to learn your preferences. You don't just go, make me a marketing plan for my business. It's not enough. You need to say, here's an example of a good marketing plan. Here is my business. Here is the product, the benefits, everything. Feed it lots of data. That's how you get an actual good result rather than some generic crap. Okay? No SOPs. A lot of people will work on AI, think they've got a good system going, but then they realize they don't have any standard operating procedures, meaning they can't hand it over to their team. So now it's not systemizable. You can't duplicate it or replicate it. So you need to do things in a way that your team can easily replicate or your team can easily view and understand for themselves as well without being technical. So, you want to systemize more. And finally, tool versus leverage confusion. Everyone thinks a tool is a replacement to a person, but that's not it. It is a strategic advantage. In our agency, we use Claude and ChatGPT for developing scripts. We do not use it end to end. As in, we're not getting rid of our creative strategists or writers because there's an AI. Instead, we're getting higher quality outputs from them and they're able to do 20, 30, 40% more scripts because they're using it. And that's the distinction. It's not replacing you, it's empowering you. Here's what AI can't do. Number 1, it can't replace your strategy. So it can't determine your business direction or purpose. I say that with a grain of salt. AI is an amazing business consultant, but you need to understand the prompts that you need to give it in order to get a good result, right? Sometimes it can be delusional, depending on what model that you're using. So you can't 100% rely on it, but it's not got it's not sentient, as in it hasn't got its own mind necessarily. So sometimes it doesn't have all the context that you need, which is why you need to feed it a lot of sources. Critical thinking, it can't make nuanced judgment calls about a brand. For example, it's going to run on data. So it's not just going to be able to say like, hey, this product will work really well because I have a hunch. It doesn't work like that. It's not a person. Okay, so you're not going to be able to do that. An authentic voice. It can assist but not replace your unique perspective. Obviously, you have a lot more context than an AI will in terms of experience. You know, sometimes we develop a brand strategy for within our creative performance agency, and sometimes AI gives ideas, and you go, actually, that's not going to work. I tried that before. It didn't work for XYZ reason. So it won't always have a completely fresh, unique perspective. It will give you a lot of data, which will be super useful, but sometimes you do need a level of expertise on top of the AI to really make it great. And finally, it doesn't always understand emotional connections. So AI can be very binary. You can't exactly use it as a team member to have conversations with, you know, within a team. What's the best way to word it? You can't just use it as a replacement to a person. You know, a person's going to have more empathy. But at the same time, if you know its role and what it's able to do within your business, there is so much you can do with it. Okay. So how do you actually use AI in your day-to-day system? Number one, think about how you can automate one task that is repetitive. Okay. So in my case, it might be, hey, I like to do research on a brand, and it usually takes us a couple of days to do it. We need to go on TikTok, we need to go on Reddit, we need to go on Twitter, we need to go on online forums, we need to go and get reviews, we need to analyze all of that data. That's my task. It's a single process. It's repeatable. Next up, I will create a process in terms of I'm going to give all this information to Claude or to ChatGPT, and I'm going to say, hey, here's the data. Here's what I want you to do with it. Here's the output that I want from it. And once I've mastered, hey, this is actually what I want, I've then created an SOP. I can then give that to my team. And now all of a sudden I can quantify and go, hey, this takes me 4 days to make. This via ChatGPT actually took me 20 minutes. So that's a huge time saving in comparison. And then you expand from there. You don't just go day one and go, I'm going to refine my entire process and system using this. It's an incremental process. You do one small change, then another, then another, then another. And that's what's going to let you create a business consultancy, agency, brand, whatever it is, that is leveraging these tools in the right way. I've said leverage so many times in this presentation. So what should you focus on? Number one, document your repeatable tasks. Identify things you are doing every single day which are the same. You can easily repeat them. Number two, transform them into prompts. Speak to the AI tools and actually ask them, I do this. How can I create this as a system by leveraging you, ChatGPT? Tell me the answer. Automate the outputs. Actually systemize it, document it, and finally turn that into your competitive edge. 92% are planning AI investment, but they lack a starting point. So a lot of these businesses are planning to use AI, but no one actually knows where they want to start. So you need to go incremental, whether you are a one-man band or you are a huge FTSE 100 company. That's how you want to operate. Okay. The future belongs to system thinkers. I said this in my first initial slide. Marketing leaders aren't just going to be using AI. They're going to orchestrate it into powerful systems that work while you sleep. The amount of new businesses which are launching, which are becoming $10 million plus companies, 20, 30, 40, $100 million companies with the leanest team of 10 to 20 people is insane. And that's because they are using these tools. They're able to design once. So they're building these workflows that constantly deliver and are doing the work of multiple different people. They're able to connect these systems together so that they are autonomous, so that they're speaking to one another. They're constantly refining this process as well, in the sense that every time they have a new process or it needs to be amended, they can go back to the AI and modify it. And it's scalable as well, which means whilst your competitors are still getting stuck with their tasks, you are doing more output than them with less people. That's how you use AI. So having said that, I'm introducing a new kind of community, and it's called Leverage Lab. I've said the word leverage quite a few times in this video alone as well. You go to theleveragelab.co, and it's a newsletter product. It is completely free, and it's going to teach marketers how to leverage AI within their day-to-day work. It will enable you to learn prompting, understand workflows, see examples of AI agents, and how you can use all of these tools in a simpler way, because it's just a complicated space. It's going to be a newsletter product. It's going to be completely free and you will be able to just learn a lot more. The plan is to eventually turn it into a community, but for starters, we will just be sending out a weekly email, which is just showing you what's going on within the space and how you can use all of these systems. And that's everything I've got. So if you've got any questions, I would love to hear from you. If you want to learn more about AI, marketing, how I'm leveraging this within my agency, I'll be documenting a lot of those processes as well. So I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you later.